handling does affect recoil and accuracy does not. What's up guys, Darkdally here, and today I want to do some more testing on accuracy and handling. I definitely want to revisit some of the handling tests that I've done, because in a video that I posted a week ago, I think I made some mistakes, definitely made some oversights. There were some things I forgot to correct for, and they may or may not have, you know, had an effect on some of the tests I did. So I'm out to do a little better testing here. The main point of argument with my last test on handling was that my handling was showing in the tests to reflect recoil. Now, I still believe that to be true. And so people would argue, well, how does folding down a buttstock make a weapon, you know, have less recoil? And that's actually a really good point, and I don't know, but I want to get to the bottom of that. I'm using a different rifle today, so these tests are not meant to be compared to the tests I did with the Scar Mark 17 in the last video. I want to use different rifles. Well, different guns have different attributes on different scales, right? Here I have the G2. Now everyone knows that this is really accurate, it handles really well. It's got those two attributes on a really high scale. It scales them really high, so I suspect maybe with this I can get better results. Like for instance, you know, if this gun does scale those higher, then maybe moving that bar has more of an effect. I don't know. We're going to find out. And I also have the L85A2 over here because I like this rifle, and I might throw it into the tests. We will see. Now, so first, let's start this off by showing you what I've got on these weapons. The G2 and the L85A2 are both completely stock right now. Let's go through here. Stock iron sights. Now, it was pointed out to me, and I did actually, this was my fault. I forgot that when I was changing the handling variables in the last handling video, I forgot I was swapping out magazine size, and that can increase, you know, that can have an effect on the shot group because more bullets means more shots. So I was changing the magazine size and not realizing it is what I'm saying. So for this test today, everything is going to be with 30 round magazines. If I want to increase the handling, I'll just have to do it without putting in a smaller magazine. We're doing all 30 round magazines today. I apologize for that. It was an oversight, but I don't think that it had the effect that it was perceived to have had. But we're going to find out. I will admit if I'm wrong, you know. I'm eager to get to the truth is what I want. So here we go. This is all completely stock. Let's see what a stock, let's just start right into this. Let's see what a stock shot group looks like with the FAMAS G2. Now, one thing I was doing is I was aiming like this. That is one mistake I made, which I'm surprised no one pointed out. Shot grouping is much less accurate when you're shooting in third person versus first person. I didn't realize this until after I made the video. Here's, you know, a side by side. So when I said that accuracy was what was going to make the bullets group closer together, I simply failed to take into account the fact I was aiming in third person. That's my bad on that. It definitely makes a more, yeah, a tighter shot group, you know, horizontal wise. All right, so let's get a good, let's do another one. Let's get a good baseline for what this thing's recoil looks like. Okay, that's completely stock. I didn't try to take the handling away, I just made it completely stock. Now, of course, the G2 is an incredibly accurate rifle. It's ridiculously accurate. I think it has the smallest shot grouping of, you know, any rifle by default. Now, the first thing I need to do is find where they hid the ammo here and refill it. Oh, it must be inside the building. Let's go get some ammo. There we go, there it is. That's convenient, right on the other side of the wall. Okay. I'm standing on this line right here. This dirt line in the snow is a good place, so that makes sure that I'm always, you know, the same distance from the wall. Or actually, no, I think this line here is better. The line where the snow starts. I think this is a better line. All right, so let's go ahead. So this shot group right here, we just fired totally stock in first person with no mods. Let's go ahead and do that again because it looks vastly different from that one over there. Let's go ahead and do it again and just see what we get. Man, this thing is accurate. Okay, so there we have two very similar shot groups from the G2. Let's go ahead and let's increase its handling and see if that does have an effect on the recoil. Because, well, of course, this is not a weapon you can chop the stock off of, but people did say, how does taking the stock off make it more accurate? Well, I don't know. We're just going to find out. Or rather, how does taking the stock off, you know, reduce recoil? And that doesn't make any sense. I'll agree. Let's increase the handling of this as much as we can without trying to affect other stats, and that's one mistake I realized I made too, was when handling goes up, other stats are moving, so let's keep an eye on those. First thing we're going to want to do, let's put a short barrel on it. And a compensator will increase handling. The highest one will, the V2. And, oh, here we go. Where's the underbarrel? How am I missing it? There it is. Underbarrel. Put the short shift, no, sorry, the V4. That's going to be the best handling. So this is the most handling we can get on this rifle. Short barrel, compensator, the V4 foregrip. And we're leaving the magazine alone to keep the testing clean. I can't believe I missed that. All right, now let's fire a shot group with the same rifle with just what, like 3 more parts on it? So yeah, what I did was I increased handling. I increased handling as much as I could. So as you can see, handling has a huge effect on recoil, but accuracy might have gone up too. So let's go back here. Let's increase accuracy all the way, with no regards to handling, and see what happens. So let's go in here. Now let's increase accuracy as much as we can. I think this is the scope that I want. Let's make sure. Because some people have argued accuracy controls this, and that's totally, we're leaving the magazine the same no matter what. The highest accuracy underbarrel is, of course, the short shift, the shift short angle grip. And standard barrel. And I believe this compensator is the most accurate thing that we can do. It is. Okay, so here's as high as the accuracy will go on the G2. Now let's do the same test. And the scope will zoom in, but we're just going to have to ignore that because I'm going to do it in first person. Let's see what this shot group looks like. It climbs higher than the one where I had handling maxed. Okay, so I'm still going to maintain that handling does affect recoil and accuracy does not, or at least does not as much, because with maxed handling, this rifle had a much smaller shot group. I'm totally down to do this again. Let's see. This rifle is dead on enough that its shot groups are going to be pretty much identical every time. Okay, now I am curious about the thing, how does folding the buttstock, let's see, does folding the buttstock affect recoil? Because, darn it, I did it again. Because I agree that doesn't make any sense. That makes no sense, right? Of course, I have shitty weapons for that. So let's get another weapon that actually has a buttstock. How about that? Let's test the ACR. No, wait. I'm trying to remember what's the one that so many people like, because a lot of people have commented. Okay, there's a lot of love for the bullpups. There's a lot of love for the 5.56 XI. Let's use that one. Why not? I know I don't want to leave anyone out. Everyone likes, like every kind of gun. Look at the comments on my videos, and everyone just goes through everything. But I remember specifically there was a lot of comments on this rifle, and I also believe we can take this buttstock completely off. If I'm not mistaken, we can. So this is the perfect rifle for this test. Okay, so let's make it totally stock. Let's make it completely stock first. So let's take off this scope for the iron sights. Let's go down here. We're gonna leave the 30 round mag. Take off the underbarrel. Take off the side rail. Standard barrel. And stock muzzle. Okay, so this is now completely bone stock. That's a pretty good looking weapon. It really is. Okay. Let's go down here. Let's get on my line. And let's get the right weapon. And let's see what my shot group looks like. Okay. Not as accurate as the G2 right off the bat. You can see that. Of course, that may be a misleading word because it may not be accuracy that we're looking at. Now, let's just take down the stock and nothing else. Let's do it scientifically. Let's just take down the stock. Parts, stock, short stock. Short stock, no stock, right? Okay, so let's right beside it, and this is the only change that we made. Let's see what happens. Okay, it should be higher because there's no recoil. There's nothing. You don't have the ability yeah, dampen the recoil as much with your body. Let's see again, because that would make more sense. So while shorting the stock does increase handling, and handling does lower your recoil, it looks like shortening the stock, though it does increase handling, actually kind of works against that. Let's put the stock back on. Actually, no. Let's try this. Let's leave the stock off, and let's just keep going down the road towards handling and see what happens. Let's just keep going down that road towards handling. Let's keep an eye on the accuracy. Okay, see what the accuracy's at. Let's try to keep an eye on that. Under barrel, we want the V4 grip. How's this going to do? Accuracy, it drops it a little bit. Although I'm thinking now that handling, we'll try accuracy after this. Remind me, okay? Standard barrel, we're going to go down to short barrel. And let's see if that V2 compensator has an effect on this gun as well. It does. Wow. It takes it almost up all the way. And we're not going to touch magazine. Let's make sure. We're not touching magazine, so this is the best that we can do for handling. Let's see how this affects. Now, this has no buttstock. And then what I'll do is after this, I'll put the buttstock back on. We'll see what happens. All right. No buttstock max handling. Our default shot group is right here. This middle one was default shot group, and this was the shot group default with no buttstock. So let's see what we do here. Okay, aside from the fact it climbed off to the side a little bit, I'm going to chalk that up as an anomaly. Let's do one more to make sure. Oh, we can't. We're out of ammo. Let's reload real quick. I like to take all the variables out that I can. Whoops. There we go. Okay. Back to what we were. Let's make sure we're on the same spot. Something I didn't check in my last video on handling because this is important. Okay. Oh. Okay. I thought he was going to walk in front of me. My team loves to do that. Let's do another shot group just for... Okay. I don't know why that last one climbed off the side like that. Okay, let's go ahead and put the buttstock back on and see what kind of effect we get. Also, I want to see how much does it simply affect handling. I mean, period. Let's see. Stock. It takes a decent chunk out of it. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we can notice anything. Because that should decrease the recoil. I mean, if this were a perfect world and if this game were dead on, right? So... It does. It does. I mean, I think that's pretty definitive. So, handling does affect your recoil. Increasing handling does lower the recoil. And, let's do that one again. So, handling does affect your recoil greatly and does decrease it. However, so does a buttstock. So, to have the max recoil, you want a buttstock with max handling. That's... really interesting. Let's try that shot group one more time. No, that's definitive. That's absolutely definitive. That's weird. I mean, it makes sense. Don't get me wrong. It makes sense because a buttstock would reduce your recoil, but that's weird that going down the handling rabbit hole, we actually come to a place, where, handling is not everything. Let's see what accuracy does. Okay, now let's see what kind of effects we get from accuracy on the 5.56 XI. I'd like to do, more than one weapon in this test. So let's take this weapon now, and let's take accuracy up all the way. Again, we're leaving the magazine, of course. I'm not going to make that mistake again. Let's go grab the most accurate scope. Let's grab the most accurate foregrip. Let's... Oh, this one actually has a rail attachment. I believe it's going to be the 3-dot, probably. Oh, we're off the charts. We're off the charts. I have a theory that it does measure stats off the charts. I've tested that, and it's my theory. I can't prove it. It's kind of hard to prove, but the most accurate rail attachment is the laser 3-dot. So we're going to have to just go from what we know here. The most accurate barrel is the long barrel, and of course the compensator. This is max accuracy all the way. It's actually off the charts. Again, I do think it tracks it off the charts. I've seen some small effects of that. And let's see what our shot group looks like. Hola. Let's make sure we're on our spot. These rebels, man. Nice driving, buddy. Nice driving, nice driving. Okay. And now, let's just take it back down stock real quick. Let's just quickly break it down stock. While this result is still fresh. Scope. Let's go get the polymer iron sights there at the bottom this time. Let's grab no rail, or rail cover rather. Rail cover, standard barrel, and stock muzzle. That looks stock to you? Looks stock to me. Alright. Stock versus Mac accuracy. And let's do that one more time because I don't like the way that curves off to the side. Handling affects the recoil, not the accuracy. The accuracy does keep the shots closer together. It's pretty much just what I said in my handling video, but now we know for sure because I think I've tested it much, much better here. So there's everything we need to see about that, and I'm glad because I wanted to get to the truth, and I wanted to correct the mistakes I made and do a cleaner test, and so here we have that. Alright guys, so I want to sum everything up that we saw in this video. So handling is the sole factor that increases, or rather reduces, recoil, not accuracy as has been proposed. I mean, as far as shooting shot groups at a wall, we can 100% say that handling has, you know, all the effect on the shot group recoil, rather. The recoil aspect of shot group is what we should say. But the buttstock does negatively affect that. So to have the shortest, you know, shot climb, the least amount of recoil, you want max handling with a buttstock. Recoil is more than just a stat, it also requires a buttstock, even though the buttstock reduces handling. Accuracy makes your shot group tighter, but does not affect recoil. So we tested on 2 rifles, so I hope you guys find this a little more conclusive than my last handling video. If you haven't checked it out, be sure to check it out because it does turn out that, you know, most all the information there is accurate. Alright, so that said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have other questions, be sure to put them in the comments below. And if you like the video, be sure to hit that like button. Guys, tell me what you think and where we can go from here. I think we've pretty much, you know, finished off the tests on handling, and I guess we can start into accuracy now. And if you guys have ideas of better tests that I can do, please let me know. Alright guys, it's been fun. It's been a real pleasure. I hope you guys liked the video. And I accidentally slapped my controller. Alright guys, my name is Darkdally. I will catch you all next time.